living in Washington State has been an absolute nightmare when it comes to trying to acquire legally, constitutionally protected firearms, pistols, rifles, shotguns. So one example of this is their 10-round magazine capacity limit. You cannot buy a new pistol rifle that has a magazine or a shotgun that has a detachable magazine with 11 rounds or more. So 10 rounds is the limit. The problem with this is manufacturer's original design, they're focused on creating the most optimal platform that they can build. So when you say you make a P10C, CZ makes P10C, 15 round magazine capacity limit, 15 rounds are able to fit in the magazine that fits in the grip of the pistol. Now sometimes manufacturers, they'll put out their design, they won't come out with that 10 round magazine version, so then you're basically, I'm stuck with not able to acquire that pistol, even though it's perfectly legal if it had the 10 round. Why does the 10 round magazine capacity, why is that allowed to exist? Why are you limiting 10 rounds? You know, you can just switch magazines and you have more rounds, but all that they're doing is preventing me from acquiring the damn gun. They're essentially banning 50% of any gun you can think of. The first time I ran into this, that was a big problem, was looking for an outdoor pistol, 10 millimeter. I was trying to narrow down my options, and looking on YouTube, Chook's Outdoor Adventure has a good breakdown. He actually does recommend Glock 20, which I have, but I was also looking at things that are a little more ergonomic, and one of the ones that he recommended was the XDM Elite 10 millimeter. So they make it is a little bit more subcompact than the full size, like a Glock 20. It's more mid-size, and it has very good accuracy and shootability, and that's why I wanted to get one. Now they make it, obviously when the manufacturer makes it, they make it to be optimal for the size of the grip. That magazine holds 11 rounds, so it's got one more than 10. So I could not acquire the pistol. Now, I've read online and I've seen places where sometimes the sender, the FFL, will sell the pistol. They will sell without the magazine. Now here's the thing, is so this Springfield XDM Elite, they actually have something in the kit with that 11 round version where you can actually limit that magazine to 10. But the manufacturers aren't willing, or the FFLs aren't willing to send that to Washington, even if they were to modify it with that 10, because it's still, if you look up the part number, it says it comes with an 11 round magazine. And that's also why I haven't been able to find a vendor that would ship that to me without the magazine, because maybe I could find someone who had modified the magazine. They're selling the 10 round version, but it's not like a permanent modification to that magazine. So that's probably why they're not willing to modify it and then ship it. Now, the Springfield, they don't make a 10 round alternative, which I can buy, which I would have been able to buy, and then they would have been able to send me the 10 round alternative, which has a different manufacturer parts number. And so I was basically completely locked out from purchasing this 10 millimeter Springfield XDM Elite, which was a really good deal at the time also. I believe it was like less than $400 or somewhere around there compared to the original price, which was really good because they were basically, I think they're kind of phasing those ones out. I'm not sure if those are discontinued or what, but there's no 10 round alternative version. So I can't get it. I was completely blocked from acquiring that pistol. Another example would be what is that called? Made in, is it Slovakia? Arex Delta. Yeah, it's called the Arex Delta. I believe that one takes CZ mags, and they make it with a 15 round version. And now I've looked on websites like Gun Mag Warehouse or something like that. They do sell 10 round magazines, but at least when I was looking back a few months ago, Arex, they only sell the 15 round version, that's how many rounds it holds when you're optimizing the pistol. You don't want to cut it short. Why would you do that? There's more room in there. So yeah, I can't buy the pistol for some reason. I don't know if Washington has any special laws where the vendor, the FFL can't like just remove the magazine and ship it, because if you look up that manufacturer's part number, it says it's supposed to come with the 15 rounds, so they're gonna automatically assume they did something, against that law, which is absolutely unconstitutional. Why are they limiting my magazine capacity to acquire, it makes no sense at all. That is a freaking liability. If you ask anybody, you're limiting me, which is the law-abiding citizen, to 10 rounds, which, yes, I can get extra 10 round mags, say on a pistol that I could acquire that sold a 10 round version. I can acquire extra mags, now I have more mag. But guess what? The bad guys aren't going to follow the rules. The lawbreakers, the criminals, if they're trying to rob somebody or do something, they're going to obviously be able to get their hands on a 15 round or, the full capacity version of whatever they're going to use illegally, because they're not going to follow the law, and you can easily acquire them. Just because it's illegal doesn't mean they don't exist. You can buy them in other states. They can modify the 10 round, maybe. I don't know if you can do that or not, but if they're gonna break the law and, like, say they're gonna attack me to try and rob me or something, they're not gonna have the 10 round. They're probably gonna have 90%, 95% gonna have the full size magazine. So that is a liability to the law-abiding citizen. I'm following the law. I'm getting the 10 round. Now I have 5 rounds less, or even more if they have an extended magazine. So that is putting the law-abiding citizen at a huge disadvantage, because there could also be multiple attackers, 2 or 3 guys, all of them have the full-size mags. Just because it's illegal to buy one with more than 10 rounds doesn't mean that the criminals aren't going to have them. It's ridiculous. Third example, I love CZs. The CZ P10C Ported came out a few months back, maybe 6 months ago or so, and awesome looking upgrade to the regular standard P10. It's got a 10% heavier barrel. It's ported, so it's much more flatter shooting, and they're optimizing the pistol. It comes with a 15 round magazine, or 2 actually, and guess what? They never made a 10 round version that I can see, and I've been looking and waiting, and they haven't made one until the Koa just came out. So now the Koa, they actually do have the 10 round or the 15 round and the 10 round version, it seems. But for that original P10C Ported, they didn't ever make that 10 round, and I can't buy it. I'm locked out from it. It's a perfectly legal pistol otherwise. Where are they going with this? Are they going to eventually ban if it's capable of taking more than 10 rounds? This is ridiculous. This has to stop. This is a liability. The laws on these ridiculous laws are only putting the law-abiding citizens at the disadvantage, because the criminals are the ones. They're not going to follow the law because that's what they're doing. They're criminals, so they're not going to have these limited capacity mags. It's a liability. It's tyrannical. It's disgusting. And in a roundabout way, it's literally blocking me from getting perfectly legal firearms. Those are only 3 examples.